finish your first semester at university, I believe, second year.
Yep.
I take it you've been very busy recently. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, I've been balancing uh, the heavy work schedule, which is built up immeasurably in the last couple of months, I'd say. I think I've heard a few people say that. And but we still made a kind of pact within our house with six others, and we're still determined to enjoy time at university. So I've been, as my father put it, burning the candle at both ends. But at the moment, before the exams, it's been a good couple of months, I'd say.
You've been enjoying yourself.
There's been highs and lows, like anything, but it's been good.
Tell us about some of the highs.
The highs, it makes it sound like you're going to ask me about the lows, isn't it? The highs. Well, it's just, finding time to go out. I mean, I wouldn't put any highs in terms of, like, academic work. Been doing a lot of practical listening and mix things up a lot, but some of the highs, been a few good nights out. Bit of the old drinks flowing.
Yeah, and has any funny things happened because of this?
What can I say?
I
Don't
believe
incriminate
recently,
me.
for example, and it's not particularly funny, that you fell over and hurt your head quite badly.
Oh yes, that was an interesting evening. It started from a few drinking games, and the night was going on quite swimmingly. I believe we went to a sort of Friday afternoon establishment known as Clowns. It's just it's kind of an underrated place in Southampton. Really. It's very popular with many university students, often majority from the university rather than the institute. And it kind of, you can get a quadruple vodka there with a mixer in the form of a pint for £2.
That's quite cheap.
That's rather cheap, and so we often consume a few of these beverages, and the night was going along swimmingly. We went back to our house. Imagine there's 6 or 7 of us, a few friends that we collect along the way, same sort of story. And I believe there was a drinking game, and we bought some drinks on the way back, I remember actually, and I declined actually because I had my reasons. One of them was priority of going to the toilet, didn't have time to purchase any beverage, and so I hurried on back. And some of my friends, he doesn't drink beer of any sort. He bought some vodka, and we were doing a half-yard challenge, and I was just watching the stage. He couldn't do it if he drank too much, and he tried a little bit, but it was so pathetic. I actually started having a go at him, and we got the measures wrong. It was meant to have 7 shots of vodka, I actually had 14, and I consumed at least 10 of these shots and finished the challenge for him, being generous. And then we had a little drinking game after that, and it involved using shots and water, and you just spin a little dial and pick up one of these shot glasses up and drink it, not knowing whether it's shot or water. And I kept getting vodkas, and we found out later they were in fact double shot glasses. So the night kind of started getting a bit fuzzy at that point, and then we went to the Friday night classic of Pound Steps at the university.
And so from this came the journey, drunken journey home.
Yeah, there was a few pints involved there, and I thought it's time for me to leave, and I stood up and figured that my legs were still working, and this is a good thing, this is a very good sign. And I started heading towards the exit. I mean, I was a bit not very sharp at this point. I tried to leave with the pint still clearly visible in my hand, and a few of the bouncers decided that they'd sort of take offence to this, me trying to sort of steal the alcohol that I bought in the glass, which I hadn't really bought actually, to be fair. And they took it off me, and I said, that's fair enough. And I tried to leave, and so I must have left with a bit of dignity intact, so I was still walking straight.
You left alone?
Yes, my housemates had completely deserted me by this stage. A few of them were downstairs, and I figured that I couldn't get down there because I wasn't in any state to actually venture that far in public. And one of my friends had gone to the toilet, and he'd taken rather a while, so I decided it was time to kind of spread my wings.
I see. So, and then later on, of course, you fell over backwards, I believe, and cracked your head on a paving slab.
Yeah, well, it's got to the point where I realised my legs weren't working anymore, and I just started falling over a bit. And this is only about a minute away from the university stage, and it's about a 15-minute walk back.
Mm.
Normally be about 10 if I'm sober. Um, yeah, I just kind of got to the point where I fell over about 2 or 3 times in my head, and I just thought, hold on a minute, and just kind of stood up against the wall, and just thought, let's just clear my head, let's just start thinking sensibly, and cleared my head a bit, and then I walked home and regained my balance and made it home.
And it was a full 10 days of headaches, I believe, before you managed to contact your mother, Charmaine.
Yeah.
And
I was informed rather panic-strickenly that I should go and see some kind of consultant about it, and so I rushed to kind of having spoken to a few friends. I spoke to a duty nurse, and she could see me immediately and told me that I had damaged and inflamed some neck muscles,
right,
which had strained some scalp muscles, and that had been giving me tension headaches. So I was quite relieved, really. On top of that, I still get the occasion. My neck's still strained. I still have to exercise on it. Apparently, it's still a bit tight around the neck. But I mean that.
right. Now, of course, this is all for your geography degree, Alex. It's quite a random degree course, isn't it? Or have you perhaps got a career in mind?
Geography, yeah. I originally had a look at Southampton University about the year before I'd worked at Custom Exercise, and I was thinking about doing geology, but I found it a bit detached from the rest of the university department, and at the time, because I did geology at A-level, I kind of found that there's a lot of physics and a lot of chemistry, and I found I simplified it. I thought geography was probably my best option, really. I did that A-level too, and I don't know, a lot of people wonder what geography is all about. I mean, what is it all about? But you can only just start going to lectures really after what I've read about it, and I'm still there a year and a half later. And in terms of career path, there's routes into the Environment Agency, and we're starting to specialise into the last year or so we can see what comes of it. But at the moment, rather tragically, a career path into the service second.
It does, right. Well, of course, universities give you a lot of independence. It should give everyone a lot of independence, purely for the fact that you're away from home. Do you consider yourself to be quite an independent person now?
Well, my level of independence has grown. I deal with skills where I wouldn't have known what to do before, and I'm just a normal human being, really, just going through the growing up process. And I've always been quite independent. I mean, I cooked for myself from a very early age and looked after myself and starting to learn things. I'm still slightly pathetic in that I don't know, which end of an iron has to hold. I've never used an iron before. It's something I still have to learn, but I don't think that'd be too tricky one day.
Would you look forward to these as challenges, or are they sort of things that you try and avoid because you really don't want to have to confront these things?
You leave them for as long as possible. I've always had to start learning them from possibly an earlier age than I should have done, because I grew up with my two brothers, and we generally used to start doing things at the same time. In terms of my mother used to make us tidy our rooms from the same age, and we used to start having to put our own clothes away from the same age and start cooking for ourselves at the same age. So I grew up rather more independently than others.
I see, right. Well, of course, you mentioned the family here. Now, it's quite often said that you're possibly the quietest person in this particular family. Do you actually believe this?
My brother Daniel's a rather shy human being himself. I feel within my own family I can understand why they say that. I do my own activities, and that I'm quite an individual sort of person, I guess, and I can understand that, but I don't know, there's different sides to me. I wouldn't say I was quiet around. Someone once recently said to me that I'm quiet around people I don't know, and much more open and loud, if you will, with people I know. So
which is quite an interesting thing, particularly because you appear to be quite quiet around your family
It's a
itself.
contrast.
The
Yeah,
people who,
there's a contrast.
the people who you know the best, one might say. Why is this? Why is it you seem to keep perhaps a distance from most people in the family?
It's a different part of life, and it's an interesting question. It's a different part of life. It's a life that I fitted into just naturally this way. I fitted into it. Um, I have different humours and different values to the rest of the family, so I just don't rough anything up by putting myself across in any other way, really.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Do you actually enjoy being part of the family?
Do I enjoy it? Yes.
You do.
In one short, swift answer.
Now, we're on the topic of your family, Alex. There's always been something of you being perhaps the youngest person and perhaps getting forgotten. I mean, it's a standing joke, I believe. But, for example, in this telegram, which was sent by Rose a few years back now, she says, he's my little baby, he'll always be 13 to me. I mean, how do you react to things like that?
Well, some of that's been news to me, really. I don't know where your sources are quite coming from. I've heard the in-joke that I've always been considered as 13 being the youngest member of the family, but as for the rest of it being the forgotten member, totally unfounded, and I'm appalled. I never heard such lies. There's no truth in it at all, and I've said I'm a very highly valued member of the family.
Well, I don't think that it's particularly people seeing you as undervalued. It's just that perhaps you're seen as smaller and always perhaps younger than your actual ages. How do you react to people perhaps always bracketing you as a teenager?
Well, there is always a certain discursive value of a family, and I think in this case it would fit into that, in that you have this sort of set family value or something. We see a lot of discourse like The Simpsons or something, where it's got the classic family, the father, the mother, the younger child, and they never grow up, and I think a lot of people look at them over families like that.
Right.
People always have their own babies.
Well, that's interesting because you all seem to inspire a lot of comments in the family, I've noticed. How do you react to phrases like this? And one such as, for example, it was once said that you would eat anything. Is this true? I mean, do you actually passionately dislike anything? I mean, it doesn't actually come across, you don't seem a particularly hateful person, but do you really dislike anything?
Careful enough not to use the word hate unless I have to, but there's always things which I've always thought I disliked, sometimes intensely. People who judge others at face value. They're scum. Because they're just the worst type of person. They just, they're violent sometimes. They're just, people who just go out and just break the law in the worst possible sense. I don't know why there's people like that.
Okay, so those are a few of your hatreds. On a more lighter note, should we say, hypothetically, you have 1 minute to spend with members of your family, should we say Martin. How would you spend that minute?
Where would this minute be?
Absolutely anywhere, but you had 1 minute to spend with them and you would never see them again. What would you do?
Never see him again. I imagine we'd be playing against snooker, and I'd probably be winning heavily, so we'd have time to sort of talk, and I'd see him in a natural environment, say goodbye, and give him a warm handshake, probably.
Alright, well, that's interesting. Now, just to round this up, Where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Where do you
time?
see yourself in 5 years' time?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'd still probably be living at home. House price is Surrey, and if I'm, working in some kind of government agency, um, no one's ever made a million by working for the government really like that in terms of the job I'll be looking at. So,
But you certainly see yourself coming home to Surrey.
yes, we've discussed staying in Southampton for next year, but I think by that point I'll be looking to come home because I know 4 or 5 of my people live with are staying there.
But effectively, even if you were there for extra time, it would only be a stopgap. You wouldn't be there permanently.
Southampton's not a place which I feel any kind of great bond with. It's not a bad place. People are, some of them are very friendly, but the place itself is just a means to an end for me.
The need to end.
Yeah.
The future. Are you positive about the future?
The future of the world or my future?
Your personal future.
My personal future. I see it being quite insignificant. That's good enough for me.
Insignificant.
Yeah, I have few ambitions in life, and fewer the less you need to do to achieve them. So that's good. That's really good.
And perhaps on a final note, on a very final note, if a child or children of your own are watching this video in 20 maybe 15, 20 years' time, what would you want to say to them now?
Well, I'd say look how much someone can change, because I'd have grown up a lot by then. I'd say everyone changes a lot. Okay, so when you grow up, a lot can stay the same. But what would I say to them? I'd say, hello, and this is me. And this is the end. Was there anything else? I think there's probably lots of things I'd like to say, but I don't think